Mm-hmm.
So, how about we start off with how is the season going for everyone?
Not bad. Got to rank 10, got stuck in rank 10 for battles, and then started finally climbing when I switched over to Yu Yang, because that stealth radar won me so many battles right there off the bat. But then again, I've always been blessed with, well, really good players, so...
So,
stuck at rank.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I look at rank 10.
Sherman, you're at rank 10 as well?
Yeah.
I normally play destroyers in competitive play, so I just play battleships in ranked play. And so far, I've had fun with Conqueror and Kerfrost.
Wait. So you're DD main, but you're playing battleships in ranked.
Yes.
Why?
Because experience... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Radar PTSD.
okay, that enough said.
Yeah.
Limit your exposure to radiation.
It's that, and plus base capping's not really worth a lot in a ranked setting. I got in a lot of games where I got 2 solo caps and still couldn't save my star. Damage is the name of the game here, so battleships are the #1 class for that.
Yeah, that's it's been a complaint that's come up a bunch of times this season, and it very much matches what I see every time I go in Destroyer. I alternate between Destroyers and Hindenburgs depending on what's in the queue. And you just can't save a star as a Destroyer in Tier 10. I'm not sure why it's like that. It has to do, I'm sure, with the way that they set up the point allocation for XP off of certain actions by ship. But you basically win or you lose a star. There's no saving unless somebody feeds you a torp kill.
It also might be because of the meta, because there's just less destroyers to get farm free EXP off of. I find that in destroyers, the majority of my points come from both capping and from taking out other destroyers. And since there is, on average, less destroyers, that takes away half of my potential points.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. That's the nail on the head right there. Typically, you're only running into 2 DDs in most ranked games, except for, like, the uncommon maybe 4 DD game. But it's like most times or not, you're going to get 1 destroyer kill, 1 solo cap, and probably 1 shared cap for a traditional ranked game, and that's not enough to save a star. Especially when you have Yamato that's LOL penning everything behind you and has 138k. It's just no chance in hell.
Mm-hmm. Thankfully, the salt is just as bad as I expected.
What do you mean by that?
I've gotten yelled at for every 3rd game while playing Conqueror, and I kind of carried all of those games, so... Like, there is this one game on Warrior's Path. There's 2 caps. There's the A cap on the left side, and then there is the safe cap B and C on the north and south of the mountains. Our team took our safe cap and then went all the way west around the mountains.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know what you mean. They got into like the 1-2 line.
Yes, they went from like the 8 line all the way to the 1 to 2 line in order to take the enemy's cap.
Interesting.
Like I feel like we only won that because I kept 3 of their ships from taking our safe cap in the process.
By the way, if you're watching this replay by a Wings fan here, very brilliant, realizing that he's detected, so there's clearly a destroyer nearby, and turning south to kite instead of pushing through.
Mm-hmm.
And better than the Henri that was on my team this morning. He rounded the corner right into a battleship in Hindenburg.
Oh, Des Moines just goes down.
I think he was planning on going
there's
up
the-
the 1 to 2 line if there was an opportunity there, but since he was detected, he just turned around and decided, hey, I'm the kiter now.
This
Mm-hmm.
Hindenburg should not keep pushing like he is.
Nope.
Because that put him in bad position.
Especially with the Kerfers turning away. So I'm curious, what ships are you guys finding working for you in ranked, and which ones are not?
I've only played Hindenburg so far.
I was mostly playing Des Moines, but I have been running into a lot of issues with her, and I finally got triggered when both the enemy team and my own team called me a shitlord. Even though I ended up top of the team.
Yeah. You get those moments, right? And then you look at it and you're like, ha.
I know, but that's just triggering.
Oh, sure.
There's an inverse relationship between how much salt a person can spew and his actual performance.
Yep. It's just,
So, why play ranked?
That's a
Step-
good question.
special module occasions. I mean, ever since they gave them the buffs, it's like you have to have radar mods, hydro mods, engine boost mods. You need as many as you can for clan battles. That
It's all
edge is
because
just
of
too
the
important.
modules.
Yeah. It's like Flint, Black, they're nice rewards, but you could get in Atlanta and enjoy the Flint experience by just divisioning up with a DD. And Black, you could just get Yu Yang and have just as much fun while having to worry about like everyone focus hiring you as soon as you show up.
So that is a smoke Minotaur, am I correct?
Yeah, and Blas also mentioned real quick, obviously our guy here, Wild Wings, is not using Expert Loader, so we saw him change earlier and took the whole thing. Oh, Minotaur. And she also mentioned he should have been moving up north earlier, which I kind of agree with. Took too much off things. The team is up, kind of basically being forced to go into CCAP now. Anyway, anybody else want to share what's been working out well for him? SAT, it sounds like you're using the Conqueror.
I was thinking if I can rank out with Conqueror, but if worst comes to worst, I'll just take a Destroyer and go and get through 5-1 because I know that works.
Yeah. It's like Yu Yang is really the unappreciated DD this ranked season. I'm kind of surprised by that. I was
Really?
expecting to run into a lot more of them, but I keep running into Z52s all the time. And I just go, okay, yeah, you want to hydro me and smoke combo me? I'm just going to sit out your hydro range, radar you back, and just farm you all day long. And that's how it typically ends up working. It's just like, they die because I have usually a radar cruiser right behind me, and I'm sitting there capping.
That Minotaur's in a horrible position.
And that's another
You guys
thing.
think that Yu Yang is underplayed because that's probably 40+% of the DDs that I see are that. They're gearing so I think people just only own one destroyer, and I see a bunch more Z52s moving up now. But by far, radar Yu Yang is the most common thing.
It's probably because of the different ranks. I'm in rank 6 right now. I haven't even begun to enter the rank 5 meta. I'm assuming once I get there, I'm going to see a lot more Yu Yangs. Because then everyone's in full try-hard mode at that point. So, it's probably...
6 to 10, as you said, is still quite varied. A majority is still Z52 gearings. Actually, I think the most common is still Shimakaze.
Which makes no sense.
Those are fairly rare, although they still show up at 5-2 currently.
Yeah. I'm not surprised by Shimakaze, because, I mean, with her detection buff, she's serviceable. Not amazing, but, I don't go, oh god, I need to go to save a star mode when I see I have 2 Shimakazes. But the problem is, as a quality of player, though, leaves me want a lot to desire. It's one of the few reasons I'm coming.
A lot of Makazi players are fairly poor.
So how do you get around that? I think that's the important part for ranked, especially for so maybe something that the Unicum players have figured out, so they can rank out in under 100 battles. And I really freaking hate their guts that they can do that. But anyway, how do you get around that? How do you resolve the problem of bad players like this Minotaur getting blapped?
There's really no way to. Oh, go ahead.
Go on.
So I say there's really no way to really do that. It's just like you just hope that when your teammate makes a mistake, that they make a mistake as well, and you can capitalize it and punish them for it. I mean, I did that a lot in my Des Moines at rank 10. It's like I got a lot of 70, 90k games because oh, okay, that Hindenburg took out my DD that got way over aggressive, but now he's showing me broadside, and I'm citadeling him over and over and over again, and I take him out. So it's literally just praying that they make mistakes.
So
You
it's
can't. Okay, so you can't really do much about your teammates making mistakes. But what you can do is still try to conserve your ship. Like the teammates may throw away their ship, but if you still have like a very good health pool going into the end game, you can still make quite a bit out of it.
okay. So that's a good point, right? Like if you die early, that's on you, essentially, right?
Yes.
One thing that Blaz is mentioning is that the Z52, we see a lot of players using Z52 because it's a more independent ship in that it can kind of defend itself and smoke up and that sort of thing, whereas the Yu Yang, we saw in Edge Case's replay, he really couldn't open up much, because if he did, he puts himself in tremendous risk.
It's trade-offs, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, for the powerful radar, you're hoping that you have at least one competent teammate on your flank. And like in Edge Cases, he lucked out there. Not a single one on his flank capitalized on all the information that he was freely giving them to do their job. But I find
plus
that...
nobody like hard YOLO'd. 'Cause
Right.
they were getting impatient.
It's just like... it's trade-offs. It's always about trade-offs. It's just like, the reason I like Yu Yang is because of those torpedoes. I could carry when I get into the late game with those torpedoes, because there's no way that battleship's going to dodge. There's just no way. He's not going to see them in time, and I'm going to get the guaranteed flood. Z52, they can spot those torpedoes, and even though I could spam them out all the time, it's like, ugh, they just don't have the knockout power for me. That's why I kind of am ignoring my Z52 at the moment. Love it in randoms, just not so much for rank.
Interesting point. So what ships are not working for you?
I guess it would just be Des Moines at the moment, because of just how team dependent that ship is also turning out to be. It's like I set myself up in really good positions a lot. I do my job as radaring. I got the range mod, but it's just like by the time I'm starting to rack up the damage, I'm usually down 3 ships at that point.
Our victory is in sight.
I gotta really take back what I said about how Des Moines would probably be the all-star this ranked season, because it's not really doing what I was hoping for. It's like Hindenburg and Zhao is like, they've just been performing way better for everyone else, from what I've been hearing anyway. And I own a Zhao, and every time I take it out, I always feel like I'm doing something for my team. Farming that cruiser, farming that DD, farming that battleship.
One thing about the game is that it's like best as a defensive ship. If you don't play it to that effect, then it's not very useful.
We talking about Zath?
Des Moines.
Des Moines.
Because I like the turtle a lot in her, but I find myself ending up like all by myself and my teammates dead. And this is like, that's what I've been experiencing.
Well,
And I know I'm not the greatest Des Moines player out there, but still.
I think the challenge is in finding opportunities to get the enemy to push into you to where they have to push into you. Because if you just set yourself up in a defensive position, what's to prevent them from just going around you?
True.
So I think that that to me at least, if I was to play Des Moines in ranked, that's what I'm looking for, is opportunities to put myself in a position where they have to come to me, and if they don't come to me, then what I need to be thinking about is where else can I go, like to kind of reset that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Laz is bringing up some interesting points. Topic of damage, people on the extreme ends of it. So we see damage is important to leverage more and more advantages. And of course, you have to keep in mind, a kill is a 100-point swing. So that's huge. On the other hand, of course, focusing on damage, you don't want to trade so much to where that becomes a part of the problem. And she also mentions there the threat of playing to only save your star, which we see a lot of players doing, right?
Yeah, it's really annoying. Honestly, it's downright triggering because just like about 3 days ago, I just back to back to back where immediately I just had a Conqueror or a Montana that would just go on the eye line, sit there, do nothing all game while we're trying to all work together and win the game. Then come in, get all the damage, save a star, leave. Because we lost at that point.
Mm-hmm.
That mechanic needs to go. It really needs to go. Either you win and then get a star, or you lose and you get to keep no star. I know it would be really triggering for a lot of people, but it just needs to go.
Well, and maybe I know there have been people that came up with the idea that you give it 2 stars for a win if you're a top player, and maybe that's the way you address it. So if you lose a star no matter what. But if you're top XP earner on the winning team, I know there's also people that have gone for XP total. So maybe it's the top 7 people earning a star on XP. So maybe it's the person on the losing team as well that's number 1.
I think that the star system should be replaced, but I don't know how that could be done.
I
Right,
see
there's
Make
a lot of the-
irrevocables. Make tier 5 irrevocable. And
I-
watch the
can't
sun.
do that.
I did want to talk about irrevocables, but actually, a lot of the conversations about replacing the star system or the save